meant to come back there before I leave.
I mean, I've been to petting zoos where they just, okay, well, they don't like being that close.
If you watched the last episode, you noticed that I had this pretty awesome campsite just outside of Salida, just far enough off the highway for no noise but wind.
Talk about a laid-back town. This is one of those laid-back towns. Yes, those are not dogs, those are deer. Doesn't look like one of them. Yeah, she's breathing. Kind of hard to tell. Yeah, you just go crash in the park if you're a deer here, Salida. I can get to them without them freaking out. I mean, I've been to petting zoos where they just, okay, well, they don't like being that close. Guess I'll leave them alone. Maybe it's not, they're chilled deer, they're just not petting deer. That's so funny. I tried to tell people how chilled the wildlife, especially the wild game. I tried to explain how chilled they are out west. And I've always teased the western folks, like, do y'all not hunt? And they're like, yeah, we hunt. Really? A lot of these deers and turkey and antelope think they can just go wherever they want and not get a bow, an arrow shot through them. I just think it's hilarious. I love it out here.
You know, it really is impressive how so many of these small towns in the Rockies have these critters in their yard. This is not a small buck. He's a pretty old fella too. You know, I mean, look at that rack. But yeah, you just drive through this town and others. You know, a town less than 30,000 people, and they've got critters, large deer, just kind of hanging out in the yard. It's just very bizarre. Being from the South, you just don't see stuff like this. If you see deer, you'll see them on the side of the road, and if you even slow down, they'll bolt into the woods. So just seeing some deer hanging out in somebody's yard, grazing on a lawn, and basically downtown. This is downtown Salida, and this is a daily occurrence, just strolling through here and seeing all the deers hanging out. Weird.
I am really digging my new camp spot. It's only like 25 miles from Buena Vista. Maybe another 5-6 miles to get down from my camp, so 30 miles. It's warmer down here. Yeah, I'm probably going to hang out here for another, I don't know, maybe a week. Depends. You got to start heading back sometime soon. I keep looking at the weather in Alabama. It's still still in the 90s there. It's like, why would I go back and ruin my trip? If I'm not riding, here's the thing I've been wanting to talk about. It's something that Z Traveler from the Vagabond, Motorcycle Vagabond, she made a big deal out of this. You know, you can live on your motorcycle for a year. If you're racing around the country, you're spending. I'm trying to paraphrase the point. The point was that, you know, two people can go on a journey around America, and the one that's racing around like I've always done is going to be spending more money on fuel and all that stuff. And if you're just kind of rolling around existing like I am, I'm just kind of soaking it all in, no big hurry. You're spending the same amount of money that you're spending at home, so why not do that? And I got the same insight from Doug Wathke. It's a buddy from Alabama that's a world traveler, better known as Around the World Doug, RTW Doug, on ADV rider. But anyway, yeah, he's a legend. He's been around the world so many times I can't even count, maybe 30. Anyway, that's his thing. In the summer, he does his Europe and Asia trip, and he says the same thing. He's like, I turn all my stuff off at the house here in the States and go do my thing. Other than fuel, you're spending the same money. You got to eat. Um, you're that's your big. That should be your big expense is gas, and if you've got to stay somewhere, that's going to be a big expense. So I kind of like those words of wisdom, and it really works. It's like the only thing that I've got to think about was like the sooner I get home, the sooner I can start filling my bank account again because I'm almost broke. But other than that, I'm going to be spending the same amount of money at home. I'm just not going to be traveling. I'm not going to be spending money on gas. So that's the thing I'm trying to slow down now is spend less money on gas and just sit here and hang out and enjoy the beautiful weather and the beautiful atmosphere. And it's all going to be shitty Alabama southern weather soon, and then soon after that it's going to be cold. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you.
So many times I wished I just had this massive wall-size big screen TV that I could just project some of these images on, just because I want to be back here. I want to be living out here in the Rockies, and specifically in Colorado, for scenery and background just like this. Well, I finished my time lapse and I realized that the weather is not coming from that direction. As you can see in the time lapse, it's going up the valley. So I'm guessing maybe I may have everything off, but I think that may be south. And it kind of sweeps. I'm not really sure where the weather's coming from, but there's just not much weather. So I figured I'd go take a hike and see what else is out here. Come along, shall you? But there's a Star Trek episode where this awful dinosaur looking alien dressed up in like a caveman onesie was chasing Kirk around this planet and was looking at this rock. It was really slow. I guess that was the precursor to the sleeve stacks. Slow moving aliens. They're gonna get you, kind of like the old zombies. Now zombies run for some reason, and they only want to eat non-zombies. If they're looking for flesh, why don't they eat regular zombies? I never understood that. Fresh meat. Well, I guess we all like fresh meat, don't we? And yeah, it's looking kind of washed out. I wonder if that's why they call it Washout Road. I'm not kidding, that's exactly what Google calls it, Washout Road. She also calls it Road 5260 or something like that. She'll say, turn left on Road 5260, Washout Road. Go half a mile, take a right on the highway that takes you to Salida or Poncha Springs. That deep breathing that I'm doing, climbing this tiny little hill, is an indication of how bad a shape I'm in. But the fact that I haven't had a heart attack yet, I haven't passed out at least, is an indication that I'm not that bad. I should probably start exercising more. I love this area. And the funny thing is, 15 years ago, I would have gone, blech. Where's the pretty trees? Where's the grassy areas? Where's the mountaintop with the creek running beside it? And now I just love this stuff. I love it. The best place on earth to spend your summers is in Colorado. Or the Rockies, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, Montana, New Mexico, Old Mexico. Do they have altitude at Old Mexico? I don't really know. Oh, this is a hell of a hill. No wonder I was panting coming up this thing. Well, you can see the Arkansas River down there. I don't know if you can see it or not. See if I get my finger on it. It's that shiny thing. There is a, oh, it's a jay making all that racket. I guess that was the jay that was making a racket yesterday morning. Flew up into a tree next to me. Well, there's one close to camp. I think that's the same one. No, that was a magpie making all kinds of racket, just staring at me, going, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was thinking, okay, well, you want some food? Hey, buddy. I was doing something. I think I was fixing the my camera mount. I was like, give me a second, I'll get you some peanuts, my friend. And about that time, he flew off. But she was looking like she wanted some attention from me, so. I like hanging out with birds, man. I like birds. That freaking Stellar's jay in New Mexico a couple of years ago, that was a pretty neat experience. And of course, I got that on film. Nobody would believe my interaction with that damn jay had I not filmed it, so I'm glad I can get the wildlife. I didn't get anywhere near as much wildlife on film this trip. Maybe that's what I should concentrate on in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I figure I've got at least 1 more week, probably 2, depending on how the money goes, how slowly I ride home, how slowly things break. I'm pretty sure I can get home on the tires I got on the bike, but I think that depends a lot on the front tire. I don't like being dependent on the kindness of strangers, although that has been very lovely to see. The kindness of strangers. Well, they're strangers to me. Obviously, I'm not strangers to them. Obviously, people that have never met me sending me money to put gas and coffee and beer in my stomach. Gas in my tank, beer and coffee in my stomach. I was hoping for a few people just to go, yeah, that's cool, man. Here's $5. I think maybe what I was looking for is just a little bit of validation, but some of the people have just been overwhelmingly generous and kind, and man, I just really appreciate that, because I know probably, I would say probably half or more of my audience is probably as broke or broker than me, so to see $5 come out of their pockets and go into mine is something that just kind of, it warms my heart. If nothing else, it does give me validation. $5. Wow, you liked my stuff so much that you paid me $5. That's it's humbling. I mean, I've seen other people do it, and I've sent money towards other YouTubers, so it's not something that's new to me. But it's also, and I think I understand it. It's kind of like, yeah, hell yeah. You did such a good job with that video. Got me smiling, got me laughing. And look at the rest of the horror, the shit show that's on the web. And you did a good job. So yeah, hey, I need some money. Hey, it costs money to come out here and have the time of my life. So, you know, that's the funniest thing. The funniest thing is, I know how lucky I am. And I think other people know how lucky I am too. So when I start going, hey man, how about help a brother out? When it comes down to that, it's like people, me included, I've reacted poorly to that before when people are like, they call it e-bagging. I learned that term years ago. I started watching this, one of the first YouTubers that was living in an RV. I can't remember the guy's name. But he got to the point where I couldn't watch him, and everybody was accusing him of e-begging. e-beggar, electronic beggar. Basically going, my stuff is broken, I can't go anywhere. And he was killing it. Apparently he was just making thousands of dollars. Because as a young guy, I think he was in school when I first started watching him. Eric, I can't remember the name of his channel.
Hey, Eric here, Nomadic Fanatic.
But he had this big fat cat. It was kind of cool watching, so he was living in a beat up old RV and traveling around and drinking beer all the time, just like me, which is probably why I started watching him. But I've got to figure out how much generous audience has given me, how much more time they have given me on the road. I'm going to figure that out. Probably by the time that I get home, I'll be able to sit down and look at my finances and go, okay, well, here's what I think and here's what the reality is. And the reality is probably going to be an extra 3-4 weeks that folks have allowed me to stay on the road. So probably what I'm going to do, I'm going to make I am going to make a thank you video, and I think it's probably going to be about the time. It's probably going to work out just perfectly. It's like, okay, the rest of the videos from here on out are financed by these lovely people here that have kept me on the road, and I may make that video very soon. I probably need to figure out the financial thing right now before I get home, because it may be too late. I'm probably going to be 4 weeks behind on my videos by then, so, well, I don't know, maybe that's the cutoff point. Okay, the rest of the videos here are because of these great people right here that have kept me on the road. Anyway, just some thoughts. I think I may crawl in here and take me a nap, since it's so cool and there's nothing going on. I don't really have much motivation because I've gotten in my exercise today. It looks like they were lucky to get out. I think they had 4-wheel drive. It sounded like a Jeep early this morning, but you could see even a 4-wheel drive was having trouble in this slop. And looks like it's mostly somewhat dried up, but you can see that looks like hell driving through that with a 4-wheel drive. Problem is, with a 4-wheel drive, you're not going to slip and fall down. But if I had to roll through that stuff with my bike, I never would have made it. I never would have made it on this flat part, much less up this hill, this little hill here. And I think they were lucky to get out of here, because they got it to the top of the hill and just said, hey, got to get out. Anyway, yeah, there was enough rain to make this some nasty stuff. And here I am thinking that there's nothing worse than that red clay mud in Alabama. But this is pretty close. And it's kind of shocking because it looks so sandy and so solid. I mean, red clay, you can identify. You can look at it and go, okay, well, there's some sand in there, but man, I bet that stuff gets slick, and it does. But this stuff looks like sand. Anyway, it's got enough clay in there. It makes it real nasty, real slippery, and real dangerous for a motorcycle. Especially a motorcycle that doesn't have big-ass knobby tires running 8 pounds of pressure. Anyway, I'm glad I avoided it. Looks like most of the rain's over. It's still sprinkling on occasion, but you can see most of the clouds are gone. I think when I get to see the mountains over here, we'll probably be in pretty good shape. Looks like they're starting to clear up. Yeah, warming up a little bit. It's probably mid-60s now. I think I'm going to do some repairs on the bike, and I got to repair something else too. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to figure it out here shortly. It's a blinker I got to fix, and it's something else I got to fix. Glue. I'm going to glue some stuff. Damn if I know what it is. Damned if I know what it is. As you can see, it cleared up a good bit. It's been, sun's been out probably since shortly afternoon. It's been a nice day. It's been a little windy. And the wind died down. I decided that I'm going to make me some dinner. I'm going to cook me some dinner. Really, not so much stirring, cooking, but stirring. Trying to stretch the journey all the way out to the middle of October. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tight.
But I think I should be able to do it as long as nothing breaks. As long as I don't need another tire, maintenance item, or anything like that. As long as I'm good with that, I think I can make it till 14th, 15th, maybe. I'm shooting for the 12th, but I'm not in a huge hurry. The Vagabond Rally is it's on the way home. It starts on the 6th, so 6th, 7th, 8th. What is that? I'm not really sure. Tuscaloosa, where the rally is, and then it's like 8, 9 hours from Tuscaloosa, maybe 10 hours home, which I've done that. I may make another stop on top of that, though. We'll see. Anyway, dinner was good. I think tonight's movie night. Let's go take a tour around lovely Salida. And there's Tenderfoot Hill behind us. And the spiral road. You might remember me spiraling up Tenderfoot Hill just behind my head there. That's a pretty cool place. It was very windy that day, as it is a lot in this area. This whole valley gets a lot of wind, and this is just really cool. I'm crossing the Arkansas River here, going back down into downtown Salida, and I probably passed through this town 3 or 4 or 5 times in the last several years, and just never saw how beautiful it was because I went down the main drag and did not come through downtown. It's fairly touristy, but yeah, there's just so much to offer in this small town and everything around it. I've got a few more short day adventures around the Salida area coming up, and I hope you'll go back and check out the Tenderfoot Hill episode. And I've got a ride down into one of the canyons and up. I tried to cross one of the mountains, and that's coming up here shortly, and I hope you'll stick around. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that, and I'll leave a playlist and maybe a couple videos that you might be interested in if you're interested in this part of Colorado at all. And I hope to see you in an episode coming up real soon. Thanks for watching.